Hello, it's Shelby again, and I kind of wanted to do another Patreon update video, or just supporters in general, because there'll be some other people who aren't patrons that I'm going to send this to. And I just wanted to talk about a couple little things. So first off, no shaved, I have a gag I'm planning for the update video that I wanted to do, and I still haven't been able to do that, and I'm going to go into why immediately, because it has to do with the shirts I wanted to get made that I talked about in the last one of these. So I have been getting sample shirts in with the design, but every single one of them has problems. So this was the first one. If I bring this up to the camera here, I don't know how well you'll actually be able to see that. Not really at all. It's all blurry. It's really blurry, especially towards the bottom. It's really hard to see. So this was Teespring, and they're the company who has partnered with YouTube to produce shirts, so that seemed like a really good fit, but I'm not happy with the quality of that shirt. So I contacted them to get a replacement, and they sent one. The shirt is sharper of a print, but it is still blurry at the bottom. This is really hard to put on camera. It looks good in the video, but it doesn't look good in person. I'll put up pictures here to give you an idea of what those shirts look like in person. So I still wasn't happy with those, so I tried to find another shirt company, and I just got the first shirt in from them. So again, that design, that outcome. So I've been at this for like a month and a half, because every single one of these takes like a week to get to me. So I don't even know now if I want to make shirts, because it just is taking so long to get one. And the whole point of this shirt was to help fundraise for a new camera, of which I now have updates on that as well. As of now, I can afford to buy the camera. I have the funding. I can't buy it right now because apparently B&H is closed on a Jewish holiday on their website, which, fine, they're going to close, but it's weird that their website's down. They just disabled the ability to place orders, and I don't know why. They couldn't just fulfill them when they get back, but whatever. That's fine. I can just order it tomorrow, well, to later today. So hopefully later today, by the time you're watching this video, I will have placed the order for the new camera. And that's kind of, it's especially important for this camera. If you've seen the Commodore 1540 OneDrive repair video, towards the end of it, the sensor in this thing was basically having a full meltdown. It was not happy at all. So yeah, I need to retire this thing as soon as I can. I was hoping on Black Friday or Cyber Monday week, whatever it's coming up, I would be able to find some parts that I wanted for working with the new camera files on sale, because I have to buy a new GPU because I'm going to be editing 4K footage, and my measly little 2 GB GTX 960 is not going to be up to the task. So I'm planning on getting a 1070 Ti. Newegg had one for $350. I missed that, but I was on the fence, so I don't mind. I'm probably gonna get one on eBay for around $250 used. Hopefully, it wasn't Bitcoin mining card, but I don't know. That's gonna be the best, cheapest route. I have to get an SSD for the camera. It's not cheap, which is why I'm still trying to do the shirts, because there's other stuff I have to get to go with the camera to help edit footage with that. So I'm going to still try and get the shirts made. I think it's taken forever. So yeah, now I guess I have notes on my Mac over here, and I don't really like what order they're in, so I'm gonna skip this next one and come back to it later. Yeah, okay. So well, it kind of ties into that. I don't know, I'll briefly touch and come back to it later. Okay, so I haven't been able to put out that many videos recently, and I've just been having a lot of delays. I've been working on a lot of stuff in the background. So I mentioned the computer upgrades I have to do one of my patrons, was able to send me a really awesome workstation from 2012, an HP Z820, and it's interesting because it's nearly the same board as the server that I got. It's got the same CPUs and a similar amount of memory, but in a desktop form factor. Now, I was thinking that I may not be able to edit 4K videos on my i5, and I'm pretty sure I was right, because as soon as I switched over to the new workstation, Resolve was a lot happier, so that was very awesome. I'm so happy with that. But just yesterday, that computer stopped turning on, and I had some problems migrating my installation over to it, and I had to reinstall Linux, and just it took forever to get that set up, because that became my main computer, and then it stopped working yesterday, and I have been having some problems with it, so that's been slowing me down. The server board I showed in the mail video, I've been working on that on the side, getting, it has weird problems. I'll cover that when I do the update video, but I'll just briefly cover it here. I spent an entire day just trying to get that thing to boot, due to really strange problems. So right now it has a GPU in it and an external GPU, because it needs it to be able to boot with a display for just console. Obviously I can SSH in and stuff, but there are some things that I need the display for, so I have to have a GPU in it, because the onboard video has apparently stopped working, which kind of sucks, because it has a remote management port, and that could capture the onboard video and send it over a web page or a dedicated app, and that would be really, really nice, but no, it doesn't work. And there's some other things going on. I tried to put some PCI cards, like my LTO4 tape drive, because I got that case that's got two 5 1/4 bays in the top, and I wanted to put that in there. It didn't work out of the box. I didn't troubleshoot that too much, because I kind of did that as a side task while I was rebuilding my desktop, because that one doesn't have as much space in it for peripheral type devices. It's really proprietary and locked down hardware inside of that thing, which makes it really difficult to work on to help troubleshoot the problems. But I'm getting help with that. It should be good. Video file storage. So I received a really awesome thing. Thank you for that. You know who sent it. I don't know. I don't think you wanted me saying your name. Awesome. Thank you. I did get that working. So I now have a FreeNAS box with, I think it's 10 terabytes of drives in it. It might be 8, one of the two. Anyway, they're in a ZFS pool, and I can put my video files on that. I have that working now. I'm working on rearranging all of my video storage, because my video storage requirements for the new camera are going to be ridiculous when shooting 4K video in ProRes, and it's going to be a lot. I have a whole bunch of calculations I've done about how much storage it's going to need. I think I'm going to need like 3 terabytes a month just to store files. I think that was how much it came out to. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. That server's really going to help me out get the initial part of it going, because I have to have somewhere to put the video files after I record them, and I never delete any of my raw video files. Actually, I have to be careful when I say raw. This new camera can actually shoot in RAW, which is different, and whoa, takes up a lot of space. But anyway, I always keep my original source files. I don't delete anything, so storing those is not cheap, especially when you have a giant file coming out of a big professional grade camera. So yeah, that's I've been working on rearranging all of my storage in the back end. I currently have it on a 3-tier storage system, so when I import video files, they go to an SSD RAID. So actually no, this is just one SSD right now. I'm going to transition it over to an SSD RAID eventually, of 2 drives in RAID 0, and then it'll simultaneously get copied to a ZFS pool, which is what that new NAS is doing. It'll get copied to both at once. I'll edit off of the RAID 0 files. The editing process is actually read-only, so I can just copy them over, do the edit, and then delete it when I'm done, and it'll work fine. I have MDHDDFS, I think. It's a cool Fuse file system plugin. It allows me to merge all 3 drives. Anyway, into one folder. So the way that it works with the file access paths is transparent to the editing software. It's awesome. Anyway, I have a fast, it's RAID 0 SSDs, ZFS pool for intermediate video file storage. Like say I have to go back to a video file, I just pull it off there, put it back on the SSDs, re-edit it, something like that, reference it for footage. I can do that from there. Because the new video files are going to be gigantic, so it's going to have to be relatively quick for me to actually be able to edit them. Then I'll have a cold storage, which will be, once I get to this point, I'll wait to fill up the ZFS pool, because I think that's going to hold about, I want to say 10 to 15 videos. I forget, I did the math, but I forgot it now. It's going to hold a bunch of videos. But then once that fills, I'm going to start buying shingled 8 terabyte external hard drives, and I may shuck those, I'm not sure, probably, and put them into the 4x4 16 bay server, and then copy the data and then spin them down, because then I can access them whenever I want. I just spin them back up, read the data, spin it back down, perfect. And I'm going to write the data to tape in the cold storage phase as well. That way everything has a redundant backup, because I just had one of my external drives die on me. This was not backed up, and that really sucked. Well, it wasn't backed up per se. There's some stuff that was unrecoverable that was only on here. But I do have a tendency of when I buy a new external drive, I leave everything that was on the old one and then leave it there. So old data on here was archived, but not new data. So I'm feeling the pain of data loss. So you know, there's the two people who do data backups, those who've learned and those who haven't. So yeah, I'm now in the learned category. But anyway, I'm going to be doing redundant data backups, which doubles my storage costs long term, which sucks, but whatever. If the tape storage is actually extremely affordable, it's just really difficult to work with. If I don't have to get data off tape, I would rather not. So there are ways of making it easier to work with, but I have an LTO4 drive, so I don't get the advantage of LTO-FS, which makes it appear like a hard disk or other traditional storage medium. So I have to do everything with tar directly with file blocks, and it's a pain. If I ever get a newer LTO drive in the future, I may switch to tape only, but they're really expensive, so I'm not I'm not doing that right now. So yeah, that's video storage. This was all stuff that was slowing me down. So that was the whole point of this part of this video. So other stuff, there's other life stuff that was slowing me down. Like I had to get my vehicle retitled, and I don't drive a whole lot because I've been doing contract work out of the house. So I had to repair that. I always do my own vehicle repair, so I repaired that. Then I had to clear the ECU, drive 50 miles, which, you know, that killed a day. Then I had to go get it retitled, which thankfully went without a problem. I have another car that's, it's a nightmare to pass emissions. One of these days I'm just going to yank the engine, maybe replace with an electric motor or a new crate motor. I haven't decided which yet. It's expensive either way. So and I had some other stuff. I helped family out with holidays, but this really killed a lot of time for me. So let's switch over to talking about this. This is the upcoming DOS PC build. If you don't want spoilers for that, let me look at what else I got here. So yeah, that's pretty much it if you don't want spoilers. So yeah, from here, spoilers. Alright, so this is what I'm going to call the floppy monster. So the entire purpose of this build is to be able to read as many different types of floppy disks as possible. So the trick to doing that, well, the reason I want to do that is for imaging floppy disks. So I have a lot of floppy disks that when I get them, they'll maybe like work once and then it's dead. So I want this to be the first drive system that they all go into before I start using them. Like I got the NEC multi-disc drive. I had the floppy disk with the drivers on that, and I used it in the video I showed that drive in. died immediately as soon as after that. So if I hadn't copied the files to the hard drive in that video, I would never have the drivers for that again, because they're impossible to find online. So yeah, this has to be the first computer that every floppy disk I buy from now on goes into. So yeah, I need to be able to read and write, well, no, just archive, image, you know, extract files, everything. I also bought a parallel port scanner that is 46 era, which is what this is. And I'm going to try and get that set up so I can scan like box art, disk images, that kind of stuff too. And I have a network card in this. It's already set up. It can connect to the internet. Well, maybe not the internet, but it can connect to my server. So I can get stuff imaged, then zip it all up in a nice little bundle and send it off to the server. And then from there I can upload it wherever I want. So I want to get like a whole setup on here where I can, you know, rip a floppy, extract the contents, create a disk image, like literally a physical, a literal image of the disk, click, you know, type thing, and a virtual disk image, and then have it all zipped up and then sent off to my server. And from there I can just, you know, do slight modifications to the directory structure of everything and then upload it to archive.org, that kind of thing. So that's the whole point of this computer, is, you know, media preservation. So it's just also going to happen to be great at playing pre-3D games, because it's a 486. And I actually found an AW64 for a bargain, so I'm really happy with that. It does have music, but I rearranged everything on the DOS drive, and music seemed to have stopped recently, so that's my fault. That's not its fault. Now, let me go over what's going on in this thing and what problems I've run into, because it has been a nightmare. So, currently, the only drives that are active are the 360K drive here and the 144 drive. This is a 1.2 megabyte drive, and there's an annoying problem with those. So these were put in the AT PCs. This is XT PC. Way more software used that drive than this drive. And you would think, oh, they're both 5 1/4 drives, they'll be compatible. No, they spin at different RPMs. So even if you could convince this drive to read that data, it's really not going to work. They may, you know, you can do like double stepping on this because it's an 80 track drive. That's 40. You know, it's a problem. Now you can change the RPM of this drive, and then you can like mount a little switch to the front to flick back and forth. That's not really what I want to do. I want to have every single drive be discrete and ready to go at any time, not have to deal with switches or anything like that. But I may go for that because it's annoying. So another thing here is I have a separate 1.44 and a 1.2. These exist. These are FD505 drives. They have a 1.4 and a 1.2 drive in here. I don't know if you can change the RPM on this. That would be amazing for people who just want one bay with floppy drives. That would be super cool. Neither one of these are working right now, though. Well, the top one might. I was having a lot of problems getting these drives working. I think the top one's 1.44 drive stopped working. I don't know why. But I tried to switch the drive from this one with the drive with this one, and I roasted the ribbon cable going to it somehow. It really sucks. It looks like everything's electrically connected, but I'm not putting power through that. So, yeah, that's bad. So now neither one of these work. The bottom drive was never going to work because the flywheel? I'm not really sure what that is. Probably a flywheel. It scrapes. The whole motor scrapes on the bottom drive. And the top drive, the 3.5, never worked. And 1.2 is nearly useless, so it doesn't really make sense. I mean, I have one in there, but there's no point in having this thing in there. So yeah, that sucks. Because I'm not done yet for optic floppy media, magnetic storage. No, because I'm not going to have hard disk. But anyway, two more things I want to put in there. An LS120 and a ZIP 250 drive. Those will go right there. I'll have to, again, figure out what's going on. I may try and find another FD505. These are really expensive, though, so I was kind of disappointed. I got these for $5 each, so I was really happy with that, but yeah, it didn't work out well, so I basically got what I paid for. So I want to have these in there, and then I'm going to have a external connector on the back if I ever get a computer with an 8-inch floppy drive, I'll be able to connect it to that, and then I can read 4 different kinds of connections with the drives on the inside, plus the 2 different drives for these, so that'll be 6 total different kinds of drives. But then there are some format variants between stuff, like this can be 720 or 144. So I'm estimating it'll be 8 or 9 floppy disk formats that this computer will be able to read in one computer without having to change any hardware. It's going to be sweet, but it's a long road to hoe, and here's why. So 4 floppy drives on a computer? That's kind of strange, isn't it? It is very. So what I have are these are Windbond multi-IO controllers. They have IDE, well, that's not IDE. They have serial, parallel, IDE, another serial port. There's a game port on there. We go. And most importantly for me, a floppy controller. So these can be a floppy controller. Now the onboard floppy controller can only do 2 drives because IBM's dumb. There's long technical reasons I'll get into in the video for this computer, but just suffice it to say, one floppy controller can only read 2 drives because IBM sucks. Alright, so you can have a second floppy controller at a different address. Now these 16-bit ISA floppy controllers have the ability to change the controller address, so I can set these to the secondary address. But it gets complicated because then BIOS doesn't recognize that, and they don't just show up like normal floppy drives. You have to have a loader program to tell the computer, well, DOS, hey, there's another floppy controller here, and it's got these kinds of drives on it, so, you know, pay attention. But I haven't been able to get that to work with these yet. I actually have 3 of these and another one in the computer right now. It's not doing anything, because I can't get these working. Now, it is next to impossible to find documentation on these. The one that's in the computer is the only one I actually have a manual for. It's a Crowell, I don't know. Maybe I'll edit. I'm going to have to edit for the t-shirt stuff. So I'll edit the manual in here. Oh wait, no, there we go. And it's been a total pain. I lost like a week to this because I was trying to get it set up because it's like so close. I'm like right on the edge of getting it to work, but I can't. So I actually can't get any of the I/O on these to work. The documentation sucks, so I've had a lot of trouble getting this to work. So it's a big pain. I'll get it eventually, but this is my main focus for this build. So even though this computer is done and working for games and stuff, this is what I want it for. So I could do a video on it right now, but that's not what I want to do with the computer. So I don't know. I want to push the floppy monster name I came up with like kind of hard. I have like an idea for a 3D printed badge where it's like a monster. How do I not have a floppy disk nearby? There we go. A monster like holding a floppy disk in its hand like that, and that's going to be the case badge, and it's going to be 3D. I don't know. I might make a shirt for that if I can actually find a shirt company. I don't know. But anyway, I got plans. So yeah, that's in the works. It's kicking my butt. I was really hoping that maybe this morning I actually had the idea. Maybe there's drivers for these I'm missing. No, that's not it. I can't find any information on drivers for these. So I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually, but it's total pain. So let's see. Oh yeah, one more fun thing. These drives, at least the LS120, I think this as well, I'm not 100% sure, are UDMA 133 drives. That is so not. So I have to find my IDE 133 controller card to be able to use these. Eventually it'll show back up. I have a giant egg milk crate full of PCI cards. Probably found its way in there, so I'll just have to go dig through that and find it, but it's storage is a problem for me right now, so that's somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, more stuff. Oh yeah, so in case anyone knows a thing about LS120 drives, these can, well, that's not good. Anyway, these can read 144 discs, actually 720 as well, probably. So you'd think I could save myself a drive and have this double, but no, because you can't image a disk from this because it doesn't show up as a regular floppy controller. So the floppy controller software that exists for imaging won't work, because it actually works by directly manipulating the floppy drive over the floppy controller port rather than just reading a file. So since you can't do that with this, you can't use this for imaging. So okay, that's mostly it. I just kind of wanted to, from here, apologize about the lack of videos and the delays. A lot of projects like this are taking up way more time in the background than I thought. I was just really not expecting to lose so much time to this. It took a lot of effort to even get this running. Like I went through 6 different hard drives before I finally got something that worked with it. I'm actually using a SD card to IDE adapter now, and the trick to getting that to work was understanding that it's actually an SD card to compact flash adapter. So there's a setting you can change in there that I think sets all the delays on the IDE channel to be the maximum, and then it actually works. So it took forever. And the only drive I had working on this was actually the Bigfoot drive, and I didn't want to use that on this computer because it has my original Windows 98 machine install on it, which is probably over 10 years old at this point, so it's kind of significant to me, so I don't want to lose that. But yeah, the computer just shut off. It's been taking me forever to get stuff done because of these background projects I've been working on. So I apologize for that. I'm trying to find more videos I can do that I can fit in between this background stuff, because usually I don't have this many background projects going on. I just have a ton right now, and it's killing my time and productivity. So I'm trying to find a couple videos that I can do that are going to be a little bit shorter. That Commodore drive I thought was going to be cake. Oh, I'm just going to glue the legs back on the case, scrub it with a toothbrush, plug it in, she'll be right. No, I went way south. So yeah, need easier videos I can do. I mean, what also sucks is I've actually been kind of pressed for time for several months, like actually a year now. It's been like a year, because I have this thing, which is my little, oh man, there's where that SATA cable went. Anyway, I have this is my project's bin where I put the things I'm really serious I want to work on. Like just an example of stuff that's in here. These are e-paper displays for my GPS speedometer. Yeah, I haven't got to that since I made the update video on that, probably over a year ago now. I have everything I need to make 2 more of these lights for my desk, which would help film quality, but I haven't had time because I'm going to 3D print. I don't think I have the part in here. I started the design. 3D print frames to put these on, because the frames I'm using now, see if I can bring one of these into shot. This whole metal structure is made out of angle metal pieces that I bought at Ace Hardware. They're like 20 bucks a light to make that. It was way overpriced. So I want to 3D print everything. I have design and design planned. It's just I have to have the time to model it, test it, and it's going to be an iterative thing. And then, you know, I got to get it done. See, another project I have. Here's some new old stock Nixie tubes and a 140 volt driver, and I want to use this to make like a tiny little shift register display for just, you know, electronics projects. I want to show a number. Here we go. Boom, done. Since it's not 6 digits, it's not easy to make it a clock. I can make it hours and minutes easily enough, but I also don't really think it's a great idea to leave Nixies on all the time. If they've lasted this long, it's best not to burn them out just by having them on all the time. So make it a dedicated thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff. I want to make a solder fume thing. I know some people really care about that. I just kind of blow as I'm working on stuff, so that's a back burner project. But yeah, a lot of stuff like that I haven't been able to get to forever, so I just haven't had the time. Because all this stuff, it's like these background projects, it takes a ton of time, and then, you know, something, it's like, I'm always torn. Do I do a recap after I do the thing, or do I film while I do the thing, which makes it take like twice as long? So if I'm doing it in the background, then it's going to kill my productivity if I'm filming it as well. So I think I should just do recap videos of this kind of stuff in the future. Kind of like the GPS speedometer video was. That was because I think I started that before I actually was making videos, so that was just going to be a recap video. Yeah, maybe that'll become the format for those, and I can work on them in the background, because filming them in progress really sucks. So, yeah, I think that's everything. I'm really looking forward to this computer being done. I've wanted something like this for a long time. Also, just need more experience with DOS. I mean, I don't have everything I've got that I want. I don't know everything I want to know about DOS. So, you know, it comes through in some of my videos. I have a lot of inexperience. So, you know, I'm just trying to get better at this. It's, you know, just one of those things I feel like I should know if I'm doing old computer stuff. But I'm having fun with it. So, yeah, I'll get more experience with this. Like, you know, now I know the difference between AutoEXE C BAT. So, yeah, just little things like that. I need some seat time with DOS so I can start to know what I'm doing. What is it? WinA236 file. I'll have to figure that out. But anyway, yeah. So my plan for this video, or yeah, the video, you know, it's all like an assembled computer right now. That's not how it's going to stay. When I do the video, I'm going to tear the whole thing apart and then redo the video. I'm going to do a reinstall everything all at, you know, in time with the video. Well, not like in time, but anyway, I'm going to do the full reinstall, the configuration, setup, and everything. I'm just doing this all before, so I can actually know what I'm doing. Like this part, if I tried to do this on camera, oh man, just no. That's horrible. I hate that. So once I know what I'm talking about, then that kind of thing can make sense. So yeah, that's the plan. Hope you guys enjoy this look behind the scenes, and I'll see you later. Boop.